Well, good evening and Merry Christmas, everyone. How is everyone out there today? Mathis just got home in time. Sean, the most interesting man in the world, the one of the coolest guys in the watch community. Love to see Sean. Love to see you here. Awesome Pawan's back. He says he thinks I should go to sleep. Dr. Bob's nightmare is in with a bah humbug. There you go. Look out. Look out, everyone. So on the screen, we haven't forget that. Well, what did I say? My dog shit Broncos lost to the Patriots. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Uh it's true, so Paul, and I am not a young buck anymore. But what are you gonna do? It's a holiday. I got a couple days off. So on the screen is Christmas Eve dinner. So my brothers and my mother were over, and I had was torn between making like a seafood fried rice or a paella. So I kind of made a fusion and made an Asian paella. I decided to forego the Spanish Portuguese paella influences. And there's what we came up with. Everyone seemed to like it. I thought it tasted pretty good, but I like everything I cook, so it's hard to judge. But seemed like everyone else did. Now I steamed some mussels. Here, I'll flip to that picture. So I did some mussels in a because my mom's not a big spice person, so I did some separate mussels for me and my brothers in a white wine wasabi mixture that I came up with and steamed them in. So there's add a little bit of spice to our dish without having to make mom have the heartburn. No one likes it when mom has the heartburn. You know, life lessons. Don't give your mom that. Yeah, so the pie was really good. I really liked it, and everyone else seemed to enjoy it. Many helpings for everyone, so that was a good deal. I think I even posted a picture here of yes, the process as I was cooking it. So the key to a good paella is to get you got obviously you gotta get your shellfish to open up and stuff. You steam it up good, but it's to cook it well enough on the bottom that you get a little bit of a crisp on the bottom. That's the true secret. And I was able to achieve that. So good stuff. Good stuff. Mathis says Evan G. The Dolphins smashed Diego's Cowboys. I don't know if I call that smashing with a last minute. Yeah, there you go. Well, not smash. They did win though, but the Cowboys proved again that they are not a good road team. What are you going to do with that? You have to be able to win on the road. Now, obviously, the Eagles seem to be falling apart at the seams, so they may get a home playoff game out of it. But at some point, they're probably going to have to go on the road. And that does not seem to bode well for them this year. The Awesome Paul one says, I felt happy when the Cowgirls lose. There you go. Yeah, what do you. Everybody's got their team. Everyone has their reasons. I think Diego's a Cowboy fan because of his late father. Actually, was a Cowboy fan. I believe he shared a picture with us one day on the stream of him and his dad at a Cowboys game. So, just what do you. Dr. Bob's nightmare just likes making fun of Cowboy fans. Dr. Bob's nightmare likes making fun of me, you, everyone. No one is outside of the periphery of Dr. Bob's nightmare humor, but that's why we love Dr. Bob's nightmare. Orko, just stopping by to drop a like. Merry Christmas. Or Merry Christmas, Orko. Thank you for supporting the show. We do appreciate it. Or as Mathis says, Orko, Merry Christmas, you filthy animal. Evan is a Broncos fan because he does indeed thrive on the disappointment. Disappointment is a key to being a fan of many teams. At some point, every team, I mean, you're not nobody wins every year. I did drop the link if anybody would like to jump on the chat. I'll pin it to the top. So I think I shared with you guys when I did the community streams, I could never pin the thing, but that's because you pin it off of the off your actual YouTube channel. So a little bit different. So earlier today, we started talking about some of our favorite new releases of 2023. And I got through a whole one before I got sidetracked into other conversations. The one I mentioned was the new Tudor Black Bay 41 on the 5-link IE Jubilee bracelet with the Metas Master Certified Chronometer movement, the slimmer case sides. I just thought they did a really nice job with that watch. I thought that was great. Anybody out there have any favorites releases? I really like what Longines did with the Legend Diver. I wish that they would make those changes into the 42 millimeter version. But the 39, it's not terribly small, but it's smaller than what I would like. What are you going to do? It happens. Merry Christmas to Mathis as well. So my brother, I did also post, my brother got me 2 books for Christmas. Unfortunately, I left them downstairs in the living room. Oh, well. He got me A Man and His Watch, which I never had, actually. And he got me another book on the who's the Majigger? Rare Watches, book on rare watches. So I thought that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. I appreciated that. That was a nice little present. And I got another amongst the little thing, when you get older, it's not about presents and stuff so much, but I did get another Amazon gift card. So maybe I'll buy another $50 fountain pen. I'll go on a $50 fountain pen search on Amazon again, since I like the first one so much. The Parker that I picked up. Dr. Bob says, can they put the 5-link bracelet on the Black Bay GMT? Wouldn't that be cool? Because my next favorite release, sticking with Tudor, would be the Black Bay GMT Opaline white dial. I thought that was a beautiful watch. I thought that was absolutely beautiful. Sean says he's got no new releases, but last night I was surfing and browsing the web and came across a discontinued Vacheron, the 47-120 Platinum with the Platinum dial. Surprisingly, at 41.5 millimeters, up your alley. I do like a 41.5 millimeter. Yes. Well, I'm going to pull that up here in a second, Sean. When Evan had some pen advice for me, he said, I'd recommend the Faber-Castell Lume at the 50. Well, there you go. See, this is why I mention these things on the stream for advice. In fact, I'm going to make a note. I just got a new phone case because, one of the problems with phones is that I like the clear cases. So you can see, because I got the deep purple one, so 14 Pro Max. But so I like the clear, but I'm just going to take a picture of that just so I have it for posterity to speak. Easier than typing while I'm on the stream. But that, the cases they start to brown on the edges, and stuff. And mine had really kind of done that. And the 15's okay, but I wasn't, crazy about it, the changes. So I figured, well, I've only had this one a little over a year. I'll probably hold out to see what comes next year with the new Apple release. So a new phone case. Very good stuff. Gives you Makes it feel like you got a brand new phone on it almost. Cleaned it all up when I took the old case off. There you go. So the Faber Castle Loom. I'll have to look that up. So here, I want to go back to Sean's comment here because he had a watch to look up. That was the Vacheron 47120. Uh, 120 platinum. See what we got here. Okay, so I'm showing two. I'm showing a multi. I'll pull this one up on Chrono 24. Oh, maybe that's not it. Nope. That's not pulling up the right watch, it would appear. Is it a bicompax chronograph, Sean? Would it be this one? It is a multi. Okay. Vacheron Constantine multi. 2 register chrono. Pretty watch. I like the Vacheron lugs. I know some people don't, but I like them. I think they're cool. Get some better pictures here. Inverted lugs. No, that's not it. Uh-uh. The white gold. This is the white gold and smaller. Okay. Well, obviously, I picked the wrong one. Here's some from Philips. Sure. Okay, so this one, let's share this tab. So this is off the Philips registry. Rare, large, and attractive platinum chronograph wristwatch. Sandblasted, finished dial, telemeter scale, certificate of origin, and presentation box. Number 20 of a limited edition of 75 pieces. This one is 41.5 diameter. So this must be, I'm assuming that this is the one. Lollipop Boys in the house. Between the 4 and the 5. Whoa, what do we got? Oh, it's got the platinum 9 PT 950 in there. Very cool. That's a beautiful dial. Again, I love those lugs. You can tell when you look at something like this, you just see the craftsmanship in it, It's just beautiful. Oh, Lollipop Boy, holiday cheer to all. Cheers to you, sir. Kino Pravda, good to see you, sir. He says that is a stunner. It is an absolute stunner. So, Sean, is this a watch that you're considering? I guess is the next question. Would this possibly make its way into the collection? He said if it was a Patek, it would cost 100 at least. Wow. Let's see. So Paul says Vacheron is generating $1 billion in revenue. Yes. Kiddo Prada wishing everyone a Merry Christmas. It's on the stream. Yes, Merry Christmas to everyone. And remember, if anybody caught my show earlier, why do we say Merry Christmas? Why do I say Merry Christmas? Is it because I'm a Christian? I am, but that's not why I say Merry Christmas. I subscribe to my favorite rhetoric of the season is peace on earth and goodwill to men. Because wouldn't that be great to have peace and to have people treat each other in a kind way? To you as well, Mathis, the legend. Don't forget Mathis. You know, Double Crown may be getting ducks for his Jeep, but you're getting the greatest prize of all, the Luchador sticker. And no, I'm not selling merch. It's an old sticker. I don't even know if it sticks anymore. It's old, probably 5 or 6 years old. So, but you will have your official Lucha sticker going in the mail. And Sean, yes, amen, amen. Evan says also Christmas has become such a secular holiday anymore. Yes. Yes. Let's see. War is bad. And consignment is also bad. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It is bad. It's bad stuff. So Kino Prada says peace and love. I mean that when I say Merry Christmas, good tidings and all. Exactly. I had a friend who got mad at me for saying Merry Christmas to him because he's an atheist or something. I was like, I don't say Merry Christmas to you. I'm not an evangelist. I choose to live my life in a way that if someone says, hey, what's that guy doing? He seems happy. That maybe they would want to investigate what gives me inner peace. That's up to them. What's the phrase? You should be the light that you want to see in others. And Keenan Prada says, "Aha, I am an atheist. See, perfect. I love atheists. They're very down to earth people normally, and they're not trying to impose their religion on me. you don't have any of that silly stuff. So you have that as well. But I think the key to it is the good tidings, the peace on earth, the peace and love, that type of thing. We don't express those feelings enough, especially as great as the internet age is, and as great as it is to have like a little platform to chat with some friends about watches and stuff. What you get with the internet is normally there's such that undercurrent of bad things as well, and bad people and bad feelings and keyboard warriors and all that type of thing, and people picking fights with people. Let's see. We give a Seanism. Seanism says consignment is like sex. You have to be very careful picking your partners. Yes. There is a place for some consignment of certain pieces. Obviously there's certain pieces that are difficult to move. So I can see it in certain cases. But after all, in general, no. There is a Seanism for you. And the problem is the dealers that want you to do the consignment are shady at best. I mean, I understand why it's good for them, but Dr. Bob says that cigarette after some consignment tastes great. Yes, it does. It's the best one. Kina Pramda says, Sean, I bought my first watch at from Armin at BH Watch Company in 2008. A Mint 116520 Daytona. Mint 8K. 8K sounds like a deal. I'm not gonna lie. Based on today's pricing, and obviously, as we're going through our favorite new releases of the year and our favorite, we'll be counting that down. Everyone will be doing. I've seen everyone doing their stuff, so that is definitely a thing. Rolex announced, or I guess they're announcing that they're raising their prices. Father Artifact back in the house. Thank you, sir. Merry Christmas to you. Hope everybody had a great Christmas Eve. Um, that's all good stuff. So I was talking to my brothers. They're always curious about the watches because they're not really into them. They have watches, but they're not, like psychopath about it, like me and a lot of you are. As far as like trying to know details and what makes this, and that. And they had a lot of Rolex questions, obviously. And I described Rolex to them as this. Now, if you are not a NASCAR fan, you may not understand the reference I'm about to make. But I told my brothers, I said that Rolex is like Dale Earnhardt Jr. So Dale Earnhardt Jr. won some races. Every year was voted the most popular driver won the most popular driver award every year. I think that he raced. Um, and he was very popular. But you know what he never was? Any guesses out there? What Dale Earnhardt Jr. never achieved, never became? His father did it a record tying 7 times. But old Junior, for all his popularity, was never a champion. He was never the top. He was, he was the most popular, but he was never the top. And I use this reference with my brothers because it was something they could understand. He did win Daytona, Dr. Bob. He did win Daytona. He just never won the NASCAR championship. He was never the top of the ladder. He was very good, very popular, very shiny, but never the best. And there's something to be said for that because that's kind of the way I feel a little bit about Rolex. It's like they're really nice. They've found a way to refine what they do um, to a really great extent. They are no doubt popular, especially certain models. But are they the best? I'm not saying are they going to retain their value the most. I'm not saying uh, anything like that because we all know that we all know that if you have Rolexes, you're going to be able to sell them for a certain amount of money. Some you may not get all of your money back out, but it is something that if you had to, you can cash out of a Rolex easier than say a Zenith Defy Skyline, you know. But let's see. Evan G says Rolex has perfected the basic steel 3-hand watch. They're the yardstick, but there are better and more exciting things out there. Yes. So my favorite NASCAR driver was Tony Stewart. And I love Tony Stewart as an IndyCar driver. I remember hearing about him on USAC when he was the first person to ever win the USAC Triple Crown. He was the Indianapolis 500 Rookie of the Year, the IndyCar and Indy Racing League Rookie of the Year. He was their champion, and then he left for NASCAR and he became a 3-time NASCAR champion. And he was a guy who could race pretty much everything. And he wasn't always the shiniest and prettiest, but he was the top guy in many different forms. And that was, but he was never the most popular. Reviled in many cases. But interesting guy. I had friends who knew him, went to Vegas for the race the one year and met some of my friends there. And this girl Donna's like, "Hey, do you want to meet Tony Stewart?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, Donna, whatever." So we walk up to a roulette table and there's Tony Stewart sitting there. He goes, "Hey, I like your hat," because I had one of his hats on. I said, "Hey, thanks." So Let the roulette wheel roll a couple times with him. Other artifact says, "We'll look at market share." I guess that is an indicator of champion status. That is one form of it. But is market share more like being the Daytona 500 champion, but not the overall series champion in a lot of ways? Because selling the most of something does not necessarily make it the best. The Awesome Paul one says Cartier is the best watch brand under $8,000. It's possible, especially now with Omega raising up so many of their prices. I think there's a lot of cool brands out there. And I'm not anti Rolex. I just don't think that they're the best. I plan on buying a Rolex in 2024. I think there will be some softening of, I think they're going to build more watches. There's going to be a few less people looking to spend that kind of money. And I'm not thinking I'm going to get a deal on a Rolex or anything like that. I'm not silly. I just think that it's a good time to be able to get what I want once I decide what that is. There's 3 watches that I really want to buy in 2024. And that being the 5-link bracelet Tudor Black Bay, which I think is an amazing watch. The IWC Aqua Timer and a Rolex. I don't like them either. I get it, Evan. I've tried them on a couple times. It just look kitschy to me. He says, yeah, I get it. I can't put one on and like it. I really liked the Pasha until I saw it in person. Something about the proportions, I'm just off-putting. Yeah, it is. Dr. Bob says the Santos is the only Cartier I'd buy. I don't like the way it fits on my wrist, though. I have tried it. I've tried to like Cartier. I've tried. So, what Rolexes are you looking at? Okay, so obviously I like the Explorers, the 40 and the Explorer 2. But what I'm really smitten with here as of late is, hold on, I'll pull a picture of it here. We'll do the picture reveal because it's another watch that's kind of caught my fancy. You know what happens there? Boom. The Rolex Sea Dweller Deep Sea James Cameron. It's a big watch. But I like a big watch. And it fits me. It's thick. You're not going to wear it under a dress shirt. But it's cool. It is cool. But it's a big chunky watch. You know what? It's the colors. It's the gradient blue, the touch of green. There it is. There's just something. I didn't think I would like it until I saw it in person. I had never really had hands-on on one before. And the writing isn't as pronounced, the original gas escapement, that writing that's on the dial on the Rehot isn't as pronounced. It doesn't pop as much as I thought. When you see pictures and renditions of it, it really, really looks dark, but in person it's not. And so the Skyline's a decent sized watch, The Deep Sea is enormous. It's an enormous watch. Jason Mathis. And that's a very Lucha watch. Yes, it is, isn't it? Yes, it is. Father Artifacts has added bonus of keeping toned biceps. Yes. It's a big watch, but it fit, It's you know what, Sean? It was a little tight when I put it on, and I didn't. You know, I get funny when I'm at the watch store, and I know I'm not buying something, and Tim's running around trying all kinds of watches, and the woman there was really nice, and she's like, if you want to see that watch, so she pulled it out. So I didn't do the micro adjust or anything, but any Rolex I put on, I do not need sized. You know, it can micro adjust my wrist. Um, they've shortened the number of links that I think they send them out at around 7.5, 7 3/4. I know Buckley said he's getting an extra link for his day date. He said it's a tad tight on it. And his wrist is a little bigger than mine because he put the Skyline on at dinner, and he said it's just a tad tight. I said, yeah, it's because you know I'm like 7.6, and you're like 7 3/4. But yeah, but it's a big watch, and it's a chunky monkey. Dr. Bob says hockey players love their pucks. Yes. Yes, they do. Yes, we do. But it's a cool watch, you know. You could, you know, you could easily make a case for wanting one and dunning something like that too, I think. So yeah, I didn't really play around with the micro adjust too much. I just kind of threw it on real quick and snapped a couple pictures. I wasn't there buying, and I just I hate to waste you know, as a sales person all my life, I hate to waste a salesperson's time, especially when it's in New York City. Yeah, even if I would, you know, I'm not going to buy that watch there. You know what I mean? It's going to be, it's somewhere, you know, it would be somewhere, well, it would be at my AD in Pittsburgh if I bought it. So, but it was nice for to take it out for me. Let me try it on. I didn't want to be a bother. Tiger Woods' favorite. Tiger Woods loves the deep sea. There you go. I like the Ultra Deep too. The Omega. I think that's a cool watch too. And they make a gradient blue dial on that one too. I like both those watches. I actually like the bezel better on the Omega than on the Rolex. The overall watch, I think I would lean towards the Rolex, but the um the ultra deep bezel is really nice. It's cool. So you either love it or hate it. I just don't get on with it. If the Bellon Blue weren't dome, if it were a flat crystal, I'd like that. Yeah. The Roadster, I've seen some Roadsters that I don't hate, but I've never tried one of those on, so I don't know. Cartier's a weird brand for me. I don't, you know, when I put them on, I just don't feel it. I think a lot of people are like that. Dear Artifacts, two young boys will be up early to see if Santa came, so I better get some sleep. Peace to all and look forward to more great Watch Talk with Lucha in 2024. Thank you, Father Artifact. Merry Christmas, sir. Again, pass on my best to Dear Artifact and enjoy your family time. Because as I said earlier today, we love watches, and we use them to mark the time of the day and stuff. But the one thing we can't get back is time. The one thing that is the most precious is time. There's never enough time. So if you can spend time with your family and loved ones and friends, do as much of that as you can. You know, that's just another lucha lesson for the day. But yeah, I mean, time ticks by so quickly. You know, I look back, you know, the kids that work for me, the salespeople and stuff, when we talk, and I'm just like shocked that you know, there's people that work for me that haven't been alive as long as I've been in the car business. Crazy to think about that, you know. And you think when you think back, I'm like, geez, I don't feel that old, but my God, I've been doing this a long time, I guess, you know. So Lucha legend, Mathis says. Woot woot. But I appreciate everybody for coming. It's been kind of cool to meet so many people on the streams. I know that there's a lot of drama and there's you know always this. I don't like this guy. That you find a lot of that, people jumping between streams and stuff. But overall, I met some really cool people, which I went to Philadelphia, New York, to actually meet some of them in person and had a great time. So get out, get out of your comfort zone. I've seen some people coming on some of the streams, onto the panels. I always say this channel, the community channel, great places to try it out, to see what you think without going before the big audience if you don't want to at first on Tim's channel, Tim's main channel. But put yourself out there a little bit and meet some people, talk to some people. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. There's a bunch more people I want to meet. So Mathis being one of them. Evan G. Want to meet Evan G sometime. Double Crown. Want to meet Dr. Bob's Nightmare. It's a goal of mine in life to meet Dr. Bob's Nightmare. I want to verify that A, he is a doctor, and B, he is a nightmare. What if he's like, not doctor, not a nightmare? What if he's not even a Bob? Well, then what do you do? What if he's like, Nurse Nancy Sweet Dreams? Well, that would change my whole perception. You never know. Who can tell? So, other new releases that we like this year, that I like this year. There was I loved there was the Longines. It was the Levens Dimer. They did a Spirit Bicompax chronograph that I thought was kind of cool looking. Let me see if I could pull that sucker up. Let's go to Longines. Yeah, I'll eat your cookies. I'm a diabetic. The only cookies I'm allowed to eat are the computer variety. Let's see here. Let's look for the Spirit. Let's look at the Spirit collection. There it is right there. I thought this was a pretty good looking piece. It's flyback Spirit chronograph. A little pricey at $44.50 for a Longines, but the dial on these Spirit models is amazing. Dr. Bob says, I'm not a Bob, I'm a William, but in Russian. I like it. Evan G says, I like the Guinness so much I bought it. I wasn't planning on buying anything after the 57 Speedy, but when that launched, it really caught my eye. It's a beautiful watch. I got to try on Double D's Guinness at dinner in Philadelphia. Oh, what a beautiful watch. Really, really pretty. And Len says that Longines is even rated 5 stars on Yelp. Yes, they put the 5 stars rating right on the dial. That's my only criticism of the Spirit. It's the one thing they didn't do on the new Hodinkee collab Zulu time. But Longines are great looking. They've done really done a lot with their brand. Made them a lot better looking. But those dials on the Spirit line, amazing. The Arabics are beautiful. So if you guys can see where I'm putting I don't know if you see where I'm putting the little hand here or not, up on the second hand. When the second hand goes around the chapter ring here, see these little cutouts? These cutouts are loomed, these little diamond cutouts, and they're shaped just like the second hand. The second hand passes over those perfectly. It's actually a pretty cool thing to look at. The applied Arabics are done really well. The applied Longines winged hourglass is done well. The 5 stars, the 5 stars. It's probably my only criticism on the whole line. The 5 stars. What are you gonna do? Mathis says, Evan G, you're not fooling anyone. You would have bought something. It says, I did get an unexpected call for the Op Master, but I wasn't planning on it. Reminds me of the Blancpain Air Command in blue. Yes, exactly. Yes. It's really good looking watch for the money, you know? Yeah, Evan picked up before the Guinness. He picked up the Yachtmaster Blue, beautiful. So another new release that I liked, go to Rolex. Wasn't a big fan of the Celebration dial or the Puzzle dial or some of the other, some of the goofy stuff, but Titanium Yachtmaster, I think, is a winner. In the 1908, if you like a dress watch, I just think they did a really nice job with that watch. Every picture and video I've seen of it looks like it's executed very well. And it's a dress watch, and it's kind of old school looking, but I don't hate it. I actually really thought it was pretty good looking watch. So be what it is, it's good. Yeah, it was it like 3 weeks before? I knew they were close. They got the call, came in like 3 weeks before I got the call for the Guinness. Expensive end of the year. Yes. Very much so. But there's a lesson there. Another lesson. I can't keep teaching you guys these lessons tonight. You get this advice and these lessons for free. But Evan was not planning on buying anything unless the right thing came in. If I understood the situation properly. So he had his his wish list in with his AD, but he was also prepared and had the funds and everything in place to make the purchase. So you can't have like you tell your AD, I'm looking for this, that, and the other, and then they call you and you're not ready to purchase it. That's the worst. You're the worst customer. You But yeah, so even though they came in, it was a little bit unexpected to get the call for both of them. Be prepared for them when you do get those calls. Don't put your name in for something if you don't have, if you're not prepared to buy it. I guess is the lesson. Evan says, I like the 1908, but as they've started hitting the market and photos are coming out, I think I like the white gold white dial the most. With the renders, I thought the white gold black dial. Yeah, the white gold white dial is the one, I think. I think it is. It's beautiful. It's really cool. Art, this Chrono is a flyback as well. Not bad. Yeah, it is a flyback. Yeah. This is the Spirit flyback. Chronograph. It's a good thing. Kino Promise says 1980 is too expensive for what it is. Yeah, I can see that. I think all Rolexes are too expensive for what they are for the most part, but they're popular. Like, I'm not a hype guy or a super but I'm looking at Rolex again. I've owned 3 in my lifetime and looking to add one this year, but that's part of any Rolex, I think, is the value isn't in the price. The value is in the retention of value and the name and brand recognition. At least that's the way I see it. But you said, yeah, let's just say my discretionary savings is a bit dry at the moment. Next year is all about rebuilding. Yeah, but you got some great pieces. So I mean, your collection is amazing. Because not only do you have the Yachtmaster and the Guinness that you just picked up, you have the Red 57, which I think is the best looking of the Speedmaster 57. It's my favorite Speedmaster. You have the Milgauss, which is the ultimate in cool, quirky Rolex. When they talk about these celebration dials and stuff, I'll take a lightning bolt secondhand anytime. You know, that's my thing. I'll take that over that for the awesome. Paulin says link for Evan's accountant. Exactly. Let's drop the link for Evan's accountant. But everyone was, like I said, everyone was prepared to do the deed when it came about. Dr. Bob's Nightmare says, I'm going to drive to the church, but I'll leave you on in the truck. Cool. Appreciate it. Mitchell Halpern's in the house. Good evening, merry and happy. Hey, Mitchell, how are you? I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you, sir. Yes. Sean says, Evan, please hop on and give us a state of the collection. Yes, that time I've noticed the YouTube algorithm is sending me everyone with their state of the collection. There's so many watch YouTubers out there I've never even heard of. I'm just happy to be considered a C-level talent as far as the Tim Wright show goes. That was higher than I thought I should be. So like that. Well, there were people pushing for me to be higher, but I do a very small watch conversation. I also get a lot of the Style of Zug guy, Sean. I get a lot of since I subscribe to his channel. I see all of his pen stuff here. He just like an orange and black pen. I forget what it was called. They just unboxed. It was cool looking. And there was a black version of it as well. Very, very, very cool looking watches. Let's see. Oh, thank you. Your performance is an A+. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate it. I feel like I've gotten better at this. As far as speaking and talking to you guys, I think as time has gone on, I feel a little more comfortable, got a little better at making the shows and trying to make it more cohesive and such. I like when we can do theme shows. Those are always fun to do. So like when we did the Hoyer show with Harry, or the Penn show with Evan, or the Penn show with Carolyn, and when I was doing the community channels, I would try to put some of those theme shows in, like British and watchmaking, American watchmaking, different stuff. Just makes it interesting and gives everyone a topic to rally around and talk about. A++ Lucha Legend. The legend is Mathis. Mathis is the legend. I'm just a guy with a laptop and a microphone and some AirPods. One of the things I'm planning on doing is probably next month sometime. I've got spare room, and my house is way too big for me. It was built in 1882. It's great. It's brick. I love it, but it's a big house. But what that means, I do have extra rooms. Cool, Evan. We'd love to see. Come on. So I am going to make a little studio in one of the rooms. Won't be much, but it'll just be better than looking at my hockey jerseys and football jerseys and shoes and stuff. So you guys show up. I try to give a little bit of effort to make it better for you. So yeah, we'll make I'm gonna get a new desk and some stuff. I should invest in a camera. I don't know. You go figure out how to set all that stuff up. It's I literally do this on the camera on my MacBook, and a a microphone. So, I put in the minimum of effort. That's why I couldn't even stand to be like, well, I need to do super chats and charge people for what? I already owned all this stuff. I don't need anything new. But now I'm going to upgrade it a little bit over there. Doesn't mean I'm charging anybody or anything like that. I don't do this for money. I just do it for fun. And by keeping it just free conversation, I think it takes a lot of the drama out of it as well. So cool. We'll see you in a minute there, Evan. Absolutely. Mitchell says, I grade higher on the curve for the absence of drama. Yeah, we don't do a lot of drama. We have to cover some of it sometimes, but we try and do it from a reporting perspective on what's going on rather than try to get deep into the actual drama. It's watches. It should be a passion. These are, this is a hobby and it should be about what you love. Sean says, you have honest passion. I'll take passion plus C talent all day over A talent with no passion. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yes. And mainly I just enjoy hanging out with you guys. You know what I mean? So, OC was really cool when I went to meet him, but he said, so you looking to buy any watches? What's the plan for the trip here? And I said, I really just kind of came out to meet you guys. Small G mentioned that, Philadelphia isn't that far away, and I should have come and met him and the Philadelphia guys earlier. And I couldn't really argue that. And I'm like, well, I'm already in Philadelphia. If I have an extra day here, I can drive up to New York, spend a little time with those guys, meet Tim and OC and Buckley and PK. And yeah, it was a good trip. It was fun. It was just a good time. So it was but that's part of the thing, you get on the streams, and if you're in the chat, people get to know you in the chat. If you jump on the panel, people get to know you in the panel. If you host a show, people get to know you for hosting a show. But at the end of the day, if you don't actually meet people, you're missing a little part of what being a part of the community is about. I think, if you the opportunity to meet, I know every met great. Oop, did I zap out there for a second? Did I lose some internet connectivity? I don't know. I cycled through. You guys will hear me and stuff, right? I'm assuming. Looks like we're still hooked up, but no, might have had a little internet glitch there for a second. It happens. Wait and see if Evan G is going to pop on. I'll drop another link. Anyone else? Everyone always welcome here. Yep. Sean says he can hear me. Cool. Yeah. So yeah, and obviously anyone is allowed on my show. I don't have mods. That's the other thing I think that creates drama is the wrenches and the mods. And one of the things I didn't care for a lot of the time was when people would get timed out or banned, and if you're this isn't, even the community channel isn't enough people or big enough that whoever's hosting the show can't really handle that. And for an example, he was on today in the chat. Watch Nicholas. And he was very respectful of the show and the people. He didn't wasn't like in picking fights or something. He's actually contributing to the conversation. He did that once on the community stream and someone blocked him. I'm like, well, he wasn't doing anything. And they're like, well, we don't like some of the things he said in the past. Oh, yeah, but today he's in the chat. He's being a part of the show. He's engaging. How How are you going to change anyone's opinions of you if you just ban everybody? I don't get it. If somebody says hate speech or that type of thing, yeah, obviously. But if you're coming over here and we're just talking and you're being respectful, I don't care if you joke around and you're sarcastic and stuff. Just don't be mean. That's kind of my rule. Don't be a jagoff, as they would say down on the south side of Pittsburgh. MG setting up. He says, if I join before the camera is set up, StreamYard won't pick it up. Gotcha. No problem. Take your time, buddy. When I lived in Sanford and NYC, I loved the watch collector meetups, Mitchell says. Here in St. Louis, I'm in a watch wasteland. Yeah, it's like the watch wasteland of Pittsburgh. That's why I had to drive. That's why I'm planning on either Watch Time New York or Las Vegas meetup next year, because it just looked fun. It looked like a lot of people meeting, and I'm in that. Sean says, I'm with you, Mark. Build on the positive common denominator. Exactly. Life's too short, first of all, for all that hate and angst, and you know what I mean? It's too short. Merry Christmas, Thomas Burnett. How are you, sir? Yes, Thomas. Amazing collection of watches. But see, here's a guy, Thomas, that I was doing the community stream and hopped on once or twice and showed us some watches. And I want to do a show with him on some, especially on some of those old Omegas, and he does a beautiful collection of vintage watches that I think it's kind of cool to see. It's kind of cool to see stuff that people have. Even if we talk about Cartiers, and I'm not a big Cartier fan, but if I learned something from it, what the heck? Yeah, I wanted to see you to never stop learning, even at my age. Providence says Mark and Sean class acts. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Yeah. It's about the hobby, respecting the hobby, and trying to create a community, because that's one of the things that when we talk about Tim, what he you can like Tim, hate Tim, enjoy Tim, not enjoy Tim, whatever. You can have all those sentiments in one show sometimes. But what Tim has done is he's created a community of people and a community of retail therapists. Hello.
What's happening? Mark,
what's going on? Hello?
Hello, can you hear me? Lost there for a second.
There you go. You're back.
Sorry, I'm going to try to be cheeky here and use the second time so I can get both cameras. Let's see, will this work?
Okay.
All right. I'm trying to be clever with this, so.
Yes.
This way you can see my messy office and everything.
We like a good mess.
Yeah.
Sean says, thank you, Evan G, for jumping on the stream.
I'll bore people with my comparatively boring collection.
Up.
So.
Let's see. And that's your camera setup. Boom. Dun, dun, dun.
What's funny, it should be muted. Don't know, I'm getting echo.
I don't hear an echo.
No, it's on my end. Sorry.
Okay, because you're showing, that the camera setup one is showing is muted. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just need to change the speaker output for the second. There we go.
Yeah.
Cool.
We'll get some.
All right.
Good stuff on yours. Get this.
What's the thing with like
What,
the
as
wedding? It's like
OC would
something new,
call it,
something old,
garbage
something
brand lawn
blue,
jeans.
something. That's right. You know,
Something
I'm
borrowed,
just glad
something
that they
blue.
rated themselves 5 stars. That's you know, that's all that matters. How's my audio, by the way? Is it quiet, loud?
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Okay. Want to make sure.
Chopping in and out a lot, in and out when you first came on, but it sounds good now.
All right, cool. You know, that's all that matters. So I scratched up PCLs. Yeah, so that's yeah, that Milgauss is it's got some battle damage. It's great, you know, because I wear the piss out of it. But I figure let's start from oldest to newest. How's that?
All right,
And by that I mean like actually like when the watch was made, not like when it was added to the collection.
Ah, okay, very good.
All right, so this one, I'm sure people have seen my stuff before, but you know, if people are interested, I could, you know, it's always fun to show it again. Exactly. So this is too bright for the camera. Let me turn off.
There we go.
Well,
now we got to focus.
Just blown out. Focus. I don't know why it's having such problems. Anyway, so this is a vintage 1940s Hamilton.
Nice.
So this is probably the only like full gold watch in the collection right now. So
okay.
I actually just had it serviced recently, so it does work. It's manual wind. It was back when Hamilton was actually still an American watch company.
In the States, yeah.
Yeah, so the old 982 movement, just like a rectangular movement. You see, so it's ticking away down there with the small seconds.
Yeah.
But it's in pretty good shape considering it. So when this was, we're not sure the familiar relation or who actually had it, but it was basically like my wife's, like, lost focus. It was like my wife's grandfather's grandmother's second husband's former. It was one of those ones where it's like a space ball. Yeah. It's just like, you know, my father's cousin's former college roommate. But yeah, so it's a little, it's definitely a smaller watch, right? So if I put it on, and granted I've got like, you know, I'd say on the like larger side of average size wrists.
Yes.
So, you know, you can kind of see it's small. It's dressy.
Very dressy. Sean says they used to be worn with zoot suits.
I believe it, yeah.
Very cool.
I want to say this is comparable to, I think, like the tank small or the tank medium today, or like the GLC Reverso smalls. So that's fun.
It's a cool thing to have in the collection.
Yeah, you know, and it's just one you have to be a bit careful with because it's old enough that it doesn't have a shock setting. So if you drop it, it will probably break.
Yeah.
This next one is actually this one was my grandfather's watch. So this is I don't know why it is so fucking glary.
Everything, yeah. The lights are not your friend tonight.
I'm going to adjust the exposure comp down. There we go. So, this is so this is a mid to late 50s Oyster Perpetual. So originally it was an ivory color, like a cream dial, but it's got some water damage. So it turned this really, the patina is lovely because it's nice and even.
Yeah.
So it's got some water damage on it. And then what I love is like, you know, that the dagger hour indices. So cool.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like when they say that old Rolex had more character, I think this is what they're talking about. I love modern Rolex, but the design language is a bit sterile. And same thing, this guy works. I had this service because the story behind this one was my grandmother's basement had flooded because her sump failed. So I was over there helping my dad like clean out the basement. And he was like rifling through cabinets, and he's like, "Oh, look what I found!" You know, and this thing was just beat to shit. And so you can see it's still ticking. It's the old Egler 1030 movement. So the
Mhm.
Egler 1030 was actually the first Rolex branded Egler movement.
Okay.
And so yeah, nice, it was a 2.5 hertz movement.
Yeah.
And then I just put it on like a kind of a comparatively cheap leather strap. I've got the original, polishing cloth.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I also have what's left of the bracelet, the jingly jangly
Oh,
folded
yeah.
steel bracelet that is, because when we found it, I'm pretty sure it went through the wash, and instead of just going to get it fixed, they just put it in the box and like parked it in the basement. And like what saved the watch, because it's probably been there since the 80s, right? If not
Yeah.
earlier, is the fact that it's just so dry here, right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
they only had to. It actually gave me the these were the parts that had to be replaced in the movement. So mainspring, a couple of gears, the crown,
Mhm.
and yeah. So
Cool.
honestly, not too bad considering.
Very cool.
Yeah, so the crown, and then that looks like one of the like second or third wheel.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah, so
you
honestly,
know why I
considering that
like
it had
this
water
style,
damage,
right?
not too bad. Oh,
Yeah,
what's up?
you know why I like this style, right?
Mm.
Because it has a dagger indices like the similar to the Aquaterra
It's cool.
that I
Well,
like so much.
yeah, and like I don't wear this one super often because the 1030 movement's known for being kind of a bit of a fragile movement.
Mhm.
But also this watch is old enough that it does have radium lume.
Oh, wow.
So there's little lume pips like on the outside edge of all of the hour indices. So it's not like, and also on the hands.
Yeah.
And obviously it doesn't glow anymore. All the luminous materials burned away.
Mhm.
But yeah, so it's just one of those things where like, yeah, it's probably fine to wear, but also it's small. This is a 34, so
Yeah.
so I put it on again. With the on the leather, it kind of dresses it up a little bit, and with the patina, it looks
Actually looks good on the leather.
yeah.
Yeah, it's cool looking.
Auto focus. There we go.
They
So
look
yeah, it
good.
kind of dresses it up a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then but it's like it's safe to wear, and really the danger of radium is it off gases radon. So
Okay.
you just don't want to like, so what they say is, try like if you open it up in like a well ventilated area, especially if it's been sitting there for a while. You just don't want to breathe it in.
Yeah.
Because it off gases it's beta particles, I believe.
Okay.
No, alpha particles, because
Alpha.
yeah, sorry. So there's alpha, beta, and gamma radiation. So alpha particles
Mhm.
are basically a radioactive helium nucleus. Beta particles
Okay.
would be stuff like the size of like electrons and stuff like high energy, like small particles, and then gamma is just high energy photons.
Gotcha.
So a sheet of paper will stop at alpha particle, and so like that's why like the crystal on there, you usually won't escape, but it's probably not super airtight.
Mhm.
And then beta particles, so you need something a little bit thicker to block those, and then obviously gamma radiation needs like a 6 inches of lead or something like that.
Yeah.
So
Very cool. See the things
let's see.
the things you learn
Yeah,
when
sorry,
Evan's
sorry. That
on.
was welcome to Evan's Science Hour
Yes.
here on
Huh.
Watch NPR.
Thomas Burnett says, yes, the modern Rolex designs are so similar to each other and boring. These vintage pieces are awesome. The 40s and 50s were the height of great watches for him. Yes.
Well, it's funny too because, like, I say, "Oh wow, it's this watch is fragile," and really the concern is more that the only place they can get parts for that movement is donor watches at this point. So, like,
Okay.
so it's not like it's necessarily fragile because I mean, my grandfather used to wear that like swimming, working on cars, like just daily. It
Right.
was a daily wear for a long time. It's just I think the new ones are so much more robust. I think it's kind of an unfair comparison. It's not that it's fragile, it's just in comparison to the new ones.
Yeah. I
Just
get
way
it. Sean says, going forward, we
yeah.
should address Evan G as Professor G. That
Yeah,
makes you sound like that could be like a sinister evil villain nickname,
yeah,
Professor
right.
G. Yeah.
That's right. I actually toyed around. Like, side note, I actually toyed around with the idea of getting a PhD. It's just it's a huge time commitment.
Yes.
And you basically it's a full-time job working a PhD.
Yeah.
And I just don't want to take like a 50% pay cut to go work as a grad student.
It's true. It's true. I can see
Um,
that.
anyway, so the next one is the
I
Accutron
love this.
SpaceView 2020.
I like
This is such a
watch.
fun watch.
Yes.
It's just it's super neat. The technology is super cool. I really appreciate innovation in the space because it's like it's kind of like the internal combustion engine, right? Like the technology's really basically been the same since like 1910, and then most improvements are like little bits of polishing here and there. But like when you see like kind of big dramatic like things, it's something to take note of. So like functionally, what this watch is it's a quartz watch with a fancy power supply. And so these two subdials kind of near the 6 o'clock, as a wiglet, you can kind of see it moving a little bit. And effectively what those are electrostatic generators. So as you move your wrists, those generate power, and instead of a battery, it stores a charge in a big capacitor. And then this subdial here kind of near the 10-11 o'clock is actually it's an electrostatic motor that powers the second hand. So I've got it in power save mode, so if I push the crown in, you'll see the second hand just immediately ticks over.
Just immediately comes over, yeah.
And you see then that the electrostatic motor starts running. So the hour and minute hand are powered by a separate stepper motor. And then essentially what it does to save power, if you don't move your wrist for 5 minutes, it'll just park the seconds hand back at the 12 o'clock. And then if you move your wrist and get it going for about like 3 or 5 seconds, it'll fire back up again. But what's kind of cool is it keeps track of what time it should be. So what happens is seconds hand it'll start out slow, and then once time catches up to it, it'll tick back over into normal time. So
very cool.
Yeah. And then
I like kind of interesting things,
Yeah, it's very different. The only thing I run into is I just don't wear this very often. And the thing, and I bought this pretty much at launch. So I got this 2021 when they were actually like available.
Yeah.
And it's got a 5-year warranty and they will replace that capacitor. They call it an accumulator. They'll replace the capacitor under warranty. But basically what they tell you is theoretically, if you just never wear the thing, it should have 2 years worth of charge. And then every like when you move, like, and essentially when you move and add charge, it's kind of like it's shifting that window, right? And so they say that approximately 6,000 steps of walking gives you about a day's worth of charge. So I just don't wear it very often. But what I do is when I'm not wearing it, I pull the crown, which puts it in super low power mode, like right away. And if you don't do that, then it'll automatically do that after 10 days. So
yes.
So I just when I don't wear it, I just immediately pull the crown, so that way hopefully it lasts.
Yeah,
it's fun. It's
that's
huge,
a cool
watch.
It's
it's like 15 mils thick and like 43.5 mils in diameter. It's a big chunky boy. So
yeah, it's 15.
Like the diameter's not a 15. Yeah.
Okay.
So like, and the diameter's not a problem so much. It's just the thickness. It definitely kind of wears like a hockey puck. So let me put it on so you can kind of see what I'm talking about.
I'm looking at a 17 mil Rolex. I get it.
So yeah, so like, size wise, like the lug to lugs, I'm gonna adjust the camera up a little bit. The lug to lugs actually comparatively not too bad. So as you can see, I think it's a 50 mil lug to lug.
Yeah.
So it's actually pretty wearable, but it's just it's thick. And thick. So this is one where I'll accidentally smack my wrist into shit.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think like a couple millimeters would make a difference, but like it's amazing how much it does. So, but yeah, so
nice. Mitchell says he did the whole PhD thing, then escaped academia quickly.
Yeah, I would never want to actually go work and be a professor. I would get a PhD for the research experience because I would like to go, because I actually worked in an R&D capacity in a previous role. And it's just mostly like I just enjoy learning, and I would love an opportunity to do a more heavy research based kind of education opportunity. But,
makes sense.
but it's just the timing just doesn't work out. Like maybe if I'm retired and like it's if I retire early, like 60, maybe I'll go back and go get one. Why not?
Yeah.
So,
Thomas says Professor Griff was in Public Enemy. Evan could be a rapper. You could be a budding hip hop career if
That's
you
right.
became Professor G.
Accurate. Let's see, and then Thomas Brandt's talking about the old Accutrons, the tuning fork. It was used in it wasn't just Universal Genève. It was also Omega had tuning fork movements, the 300 hertz movements. The problem is at my we actually had a representative from Bulova / Accutron when like a couple years ago, because over the pandemic, one of the watch stores in the area would host these like monthly like brand showcases where they get representatives from the brand.
Yeah.
We had like an online Zoom call, because we couldn't meet in person, and they would kind of give us a presentation, talk about it. And basically the Bulova folks are like, the problem we run into is like, we couldn't make a tuning fork movement today because all of the tooling just doesn't exist. It would cost a lot of money to spin up new tooling to do that. So so it's really interesting.
So
as people asked about it, because even like the modern ones that look kind of retro are actually just non-mag movement.
Yeah.
So
I think I shared the story of the worst thing that I ever had to do, which was to help clean up after a suicide for one of my mom's friends.
That sucks.
Yeah, it ended up being me and the
Happy
victim.
holidays, everyone.
Yes, happy holiday. The victim's brother ended up doing it, and which was fine. We got it done. You do what you got to do, But the dad, these were friends of my parents, and the dad gave me his old broken tuning fork Accutron. After that, because he knew I loved watches. So I had it fixed, and I actually gave it back to the brother because I just felt like it should be his. You know what I mean? Like, but I had it all serviced and everything, but it took a long time for them to get the parts and stuff for that watch.
Yeah, essentially, because again, you have to find a donor watch.
Yeah.
They're super cool. I watched a video of somebody doing a service on a tuning fork movement. They're super interesting because it's almost like a watch movement in reverse. It's really hard to describe because effectively whereas you would like with the Swiss lever escapement, right? So you got your wheel that's like your balance wheel. It's kind of ticking back. You've got your balance fork and it smacks it and it ticks back and forth. But like on the tuning fork movements, essentially you have a wheel with like a bunch of teeth and you have these two jeweled, like very, very itty bitty tiny, almost like fingers. And essentially what they do is when they vibrate, they push up against this wheel and push it, right? Like this action, right? And then that is what actually transfers the energy up the train of gears. It's super interesting. There's cool videos. You can like watch somebody do a full service on it, and it's super cool. Yeah, I don't know. I like the kind of shit. So like that's anyway, what's next? So this is next. So going into modern, where my camera is. So the Black Bay B01 chronograph. This is a handsome boyo. It's again thick boy. I think it's 14 mils thick. But nice thing is like the crystal's like 1.5 mils, so it really wears closer to like a 13 and a half.
Yeah.
It's just handsome, like the Opaline dial looks great. What was really nice is I got one of those Steel Reef links like a while ago. So I got the little micro extension because because the problem I run into is like this, and I even like my bracelets with a bit of slop in them. But during the summer, man, my wrists swell, and it made this watch like unwearable. So that's what it kind of looks like on the wrist. It's a good size, it's 41, 14 mil thick. But with that you get 200, like 7 1/4, but it's really flat. So I've got really flat wrists. So it's a great size, and with that thickness, you do get 200 meters of water resistance. And it's a handsome watch. It runs great. I've had like 0 issues with it. What I'm really curious to see is there's Tudor's already in kind of like there's already rumors floating around that Tudor's looking to start making because they own the Kinesi watch movement company.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically they're talking about making their own in-house chronograph movements because they don't like having to rely on Breitling because what I was told by my SA is Breitling was like they've been having problems getting repair parts in a timely fashion from Breitling.
Okay.
And as well as part of the delays for like, because this watch was like super hard to get for a long time, and
Hmm.
part of that was just the fact that like both Tudor and like I think Tudor underestimated the demand for it, and they didn't
Mm.
request enough movements initially, and then essentially when they saw the demand was ridiculous, Breitling was unable to ramp production to get them more B01s.
Okay.
So yeah, so they're talking about making their own movements, which would be cool because if they could make it thinner, I think that's my
I was
only
gonna say you
complaint
could
is I
probably
would
make
like
it
to
a little
see
bit
this at
thinner.
like a yeah, if they can get this down to like a 13, right?
Yeah.
I think that'd be fantastic. But I understand, it's going to be a thick boy, and that's fine.
Hmm.
Um,
How do you feel about the faux rivets?
I honestly don't care because I kind of showed. So like I have I have this. I should send this up to RollyWorks just to get the bracelet like up and running. But this
Yeah.
is the original like for my grandpa's watch. This is the focus. I said focus.
Oh, okay.
This is the original riveted bracelet, right?
Okay.
So like I have, as you can see, sorry if it'll focus. Yeah, you can kind of see the actual like rivets on the original
actual
bracelet
rivets
on
on the
on my
bracelet.
grandpa's OP. Um,
Yeah.
but like honestly, yeah, is it kind of cheesy? Sure. I don't really care.
Hmm.
Like there's other things I'll be anal about with watches. That's not one of them.
Yeah. Thomas had a question. He says that he was watching ID Guy's video about the gripes some people have with the snowflake hand. Say, do you find the snowflake hand gets in the way of reading the chronograph subregisters?
Well, so like it's funny because so where the hands are now, you can see it's literally covering the running seconds.
Yes.
um, I don't really I don't really mind. And it's
Hmm.
really kind of funny because when I was still waiting for this watch, because basically I got to put in an order at my AD and they were allowed to place 5 special orders for this, and then I
Okay.
was because they'd gotten one like at launch, and then basically they were just waiting to get more. So I was like the first one of that special order group that actually got theirs.
Hmm.
Um, and people were talking about the how hard it is to read this dial, and it's one of those things where like I don't have any issues because yes, it would have been nice if they'd blacked out the hands,
Yeah.
be a bit more legible instead of the high polish. But it's one of those ones where like you just kind of like angle it a little bit, and
Hmm.
then it's not really a problem. But as far as like the snowflake hand blocking the register, yeah, if I was using it all the time, maybe that'd be a slight inconvenience. But I
Yeah.
just at the
It
same
doesn't.
time,
I
like
was just watching it run around, for a minute there, and it does. It's really only not visible, um, for a couple seconds. You can
yeah,
see the hand
and
going
even like
around.
the chronograph minute hand, like in I even then the only time I feel like you would have issues with it if it was at like between 32 and like 34 minutes when it would be
Yeah.
like, but I mean the hour hand would block that anyway, right? Even if it
Right.
didn't have a snowflake. So the rest of it, I don't see it as a big problem.
Yeah.
I like and like I understand people's like I think it's a theoretical frustration. I don't think it's actually
Hmm.
like practically going to cause any issues. Um, so, but he's a designer, so that's kind of his job is
Yeah.
to overanalyze things and nitpick.
That's
Um,
it. True. Very true. Mitchell says he doesn't think he owned a chrono that had some degree of obstructions in some hand positions. Yeah, I think any handset is going to cover something, you know.
yeah,
So then it really, I think it really comes down to, are you a fan of the uh snowflake hand or not? I
mhm.
think that's really more to the point. I think there's some people that just don't get it. I like the snowflake hand because it's different.
Yeah, because like, what are they going to do? Put a Mercedes hand on there
Yeah.
now? Like, and like, I get that. Let's see. Do I have a photo of my? I do. I don't know if I do. I'd have to dig through
Uh,
some photo albums.
If you're ever digging through and you find one, please come share. That would be cool to see.
Let's see. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, but is chronographs. I just lost chain of thought there.
Sean, Sean says it's not like every day that we have to time the burn to get back to the earth.
Yeah. So, and there's other things too, like the fact that like the screw down pushers, right? So there's other like from an inconvenience standpoint, like that's more frustrating than like the snowflake hand in front of the dial. Oh yeah, that's what we're talking about. Like, we're gonna put a Mercedes hand on there so it can just look like every other Steel Sports professional Rolex, or like at least the snowflake hand like has some heritage with Tudor.
It has some heritage.
You know what? They're just leaning into it.
Different look, it's. Yeah. I don't want a Tudor to look exactly like a Rolex. They're similar enough, So I like to see some of the differences. And the snowflake hand is definitely one of them. And like you said, they've leaned into it, and then I like it. Yeah. If you're gonna do it, lean into it, own it. The
other thing too that I like about it is the B01 is a good movement. Like it's, and especially considering Breitling's like trying to push their stuff up market, and so like all of the chronos start at like $8,000 now.
Yeah.
And you can get those Tudor chronos for like $5,000, right? So you're getting a really good like column wheel chronograph movement, vertical clutch for $5,000, right? So don't get me wrong, the servicing cost is going to be a bitch, and 8 years when I go to drop it off, it'll probably be like a $900 service. But I mean, to be fair, if you've ever seen somebody actually do a service on a chronograph movement, there's a whole lot of work that goes into it.
Exactly,
a lot of parts. So the next one,
dun 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 dun,
the Millie. So this one you can see like there's spots like you see right at the 12 o'clock on the high polish bezel. It's funny. I had like a microfiber cloth. I was trying to wipe the dust off, and it pretty much just wiped all the polishes right off. There's like a streak.
I remember you telling me that. Yeah.
There's like some scratches here and there. There's also a ding on the case, like right here on the lug, where you can kind of see it there. I was getting out of the car. I took the seatbelt off, and it flings up and just dings the watch and then goes off. And I'm like, oh, you son of a bitch. Really? And it's just got like scuffs in the PCLs, and because I just watch them to be worn. Like I'm not a fan of museum pieces. It's and I'm not so romantic that I think every scrape or scratch is a story, but it's just collectively it's just, this is kind of my life. So
it makes sense.
And it's such a fun watch. I'm really hoping that I think it's the 26th or 27th, that'll be the 70th anniversary of the launch of the Milgauss originally. So I'm hoping that they bring it back. And
I get bring back the original with the bezel or the.
I think that'd be fun, actually. Like bring it back, especially since they don't make the Turnograph right now, because it was a Turnograph bezel, right? So if they did that would actually be super cool. I think, leave it with no crown guards case with the Turnograph bezel, lightning bolt second hand, and then I like the green crystal. Somebody did a render one time of like one with what it would look like with a red crystal, and I thought that looked dope.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, if they brought this. Yeah, so and I understand that, like, okay, the parachrom hairspring that Rolex has is made of amagnetic metals. I get that. Like, so this is kind of an irrelevant. You wouldn't even call it a complication, but like it's over engineered,
right?
And it's kind of lost its purpose because anything that's worth its weight is amagnetic. But but honestly, it's just fun. It's kind of quirky.
It's a fun watch.
The
lightning bolt hand is amazing. I always thought that was just amazing.
And I think this was the best blue dial in. If I get the fucking camera to focus, I think this was the best blue dial in the Rolex catalog. This is like zirconium blue dial. So
it pops. Thomas says he loves his Z Blue, probably his favorite watch.
So so it's that guy. And then this one, it's important to me because the Z Blue dial came out in 2014. and that's
Mhm.
actually the year I graduated college. And so
There
it
you
was
go.
on my list for a long time. Like I'd had my eye on it. It's just I couldn't afford, at the time being fresh out of college. You get a new car, an apartment.
Right.
You're kind of building your career and trying to get yourself established. And then basically when I finally hit a point where I could afford it, and I'm like, you know what, I'm doing it. And then
Cool.
conveniently it got discontinued like a year later.
Very cool. Yeah, Sean says scratching the watch is simply a process of personalizing the watch for
Oh
yourself.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
that's
yeah.
part of it too.
And
Definitely part of
then
it. I noticed a bunch of scratches on my light scratches, but on the clasp on the Legend Diver, he's got a few little scratches because it's really high polish. I'm
yeah.
like, oh yeah, yeah, wore it to work.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Well, and that's just the thing, right? Like, I like to give. I actually met Double Crown for cocktails the other day. He's in town.
oh cool.
So it's fun to give him a little ribbing for putting his watch condoms on.
Yes,
But yeah, yeah.
exactly.
But at the same time, if that helps him enjoy his watches, I
Yeah.
can't actually be upset about that. I think it'd be silly
Mhm.
to like actually care about that. But yeah. So continuing, and next to my bag of tricks. Uh,
Bum, bum, bum.
This is one of my absolute favorite dials in my collection. The
That's
applied Arabic
beautiful.
numerals, the purple sunburst dial. I like Fears.
Yeah, I do too.
I love their design language. Um, I had some issues with this guy, but they sorted it out. They've got a workshop. Actually, it's Oak and Oscar in Chicago. They're like another small watch brand. They partnered with them
Yeah.
to deal with their warranty repairs
Oh,
and
okay.
servicing. So I had to mail it to Chicago. It was out for a couple months. They sent it back, and it works like a dream, right? So, and the nice thing
Nice.
too is like so on the 38 mils, it's a hand wind. It's just an ETA 7001. That's
Mhm.
easy to service. Granted,
Yeah.
these the high grade version, but like you can take that to any watchmaker, and they should be able to get parts dirt
Should be
cheap.
able to get parts
Um,
and fix
and
it.
then their newer 40 mil versions are automatic, and that's an ETA 2824. So same
Okay.
thing. Take it to any watchmaker, and they can service it. And their new, they had a mother of pearl dial they just launched that's just an absolute stunner. And then they also
Ooh.
had what they called like a mallard green, which was really nice. But it's just, I
I
got the
think I've seen the
purple.
mallard green, but I like the purple and I
Mm.
love the bracelet on that one.
Yeah, so bracelet it was separate. It came on leather,
Mhm.
and so they're really nice leather straps. So it came with like a purple leather to match the dial, and then also like a kind of a gray.
Yeah.
And so this was the, yeah, I actually have a purple strap for it. Bag of tricks here. So this is the purple
Oh,
leather
there you
that it
go.
came with.
Nice.
Um, so
What size are the lugs?
I think it's 20 mil lugs. I
Okay.
think. Let's see where's my handy dandy calipers right here. So yeah, lug width is 20. So
Okay.
and then so the story behind this one was they announced this watch because it was the Queen's 70th year of her reign.
Oh,
And so they announced
yeah.
it, and so they called this their Jubilee edition because it was her
Mhm.
Jubilee, the Jubilee year, right? So, and
Right.
then it was like a month after they announced this is when she died. And so what they did is originally they were going to make it so if you ordered it in 2022, you would get one, but then after she died, they limited it to 70 pieces,
Oh,
one for
wow.
each year that she was
Yeah. He
she
was
was queen.
on the throne. Yeah.
Mhm. So
It's a beauty.
yeah,
It really is. That purple's it's a stunner, and that bracelet is good
yeah, the
looking.
bracelets.
The whole thing. It's a good package. Yeah. Oh
Like I
yeah.
said, yeah, it's a 38, so yeah, you could argue a little small, but like on leather,
Mhm.
dresses up nice. Like this is my like actual dress watch. Yeah, purple's a bit flashy for like a dress watch, but and it's got like the quick release for the straps and the bracelet, so it's
Oh,
really
okay.
easy to
Cool.
swap straps.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so then it kind of flies under the radar. I want to get a charcoal strap for it because I think that'd be a bit dressier because the
I think
gray
that
strap
would.
that came
Yeah.
with is a bit lighter.
Okay.
But it's nice. Um,
Yeah. Charcoal
so
would look amazing with that purple.
yeah, because it came with the gray strap. I think it was supposed to come with a charcoal gray, but I think they must have just grabbed what they had. because this is the gray that it came with, and it's nice. Don't get me wrong, it looks nice,
Yeah.
but I think something a bit darker would have
Yeah.
looked better.
Mitchell says he loves the Purple Dow micro brand from Dufresne that he has from Austin, Texas. And Thomas says Fears makes some great watches. I love the Salmon Dow Brunswick and the Alliance Jump.
Oh yeah, the
Hour
Jump
watch.
Hour was super cool.
Yeah, that's one. Christopher Ward collab. Yeah, that was very cool. Sean says it will look great with a gray pinstripe suit.
Yeah, I was really kind of frustrated. So I went to a friend's wedding, and I think I showed you guys the outfit I went in. It was kind of and so the problem is because I had like a purple tie and a purple pocket square, and unfortunately the watch didn't come in till like the day after the wedding. So then I ended up wearing the Outmaster with that. But like I was really hoping that they would come in time.
They would be back. Yeah,
they'd be back from the warranty service. So, but just missed it. But that's okay.
You'll just have to get a purple smoking jacket.
Which are conveniently I have one. Yeah. So here's next on the list is Tim Wright's favorite watch. He hates this thing so much. It's kind of funny. If anything, it just adds to my appreciation because his hatred for it's like really irrational too. And there's he has some legitimate criticisms. So this is the B09. So basically they took the B01, took the automatic works off of it, and they made it hand wind. What's really funny too is if you ever handled Breitling chronographs, the B01 is the grittiest winding movement I've ever experienced. So like my tutor and it's a super gritty wind, but I've also tested the actual Breitling B01s, like the Navi timers and stuff. Super gritty. The B09 here, the hand wind, butter smooth, absolute butter smooth winding. But so some of his criticisms is just that it was a little lazy. They could have done a bit more. So if you actually look closely, there's a few jewel holes here that don't have any like gears or pivots in them because they just literally just took the automatic works off. So yeah, okay, that's legit. But as far as the design, he's like, oh, it's just ripping off the Patek, and it's just like, yeah, but the Patek's also $83,000.
Exactly.
And also, I mean, this has heritage, right? Like the Premier goes back to the 40s when it was a ripoff of the Patek from the 30s. So
it's a continuation.
That's right. It's an inception of it's a dream inside a dream inside a ripoff inside a dream. But it's just a handsome watch, right? And I want to get the black. I need to look at the straps because I was looking and they've got because this is actual alligator leather or crocodile. And they have a black one, but I want black with black stitching, and they have a black with white stitching, and I don't want the white stitching.
Okay.
So I need to find a good like croc strap or like a black leather. But it's handsome. The actions it works great. And it's nice. It's a 40 mil. People are like, oh, it's a little thick, but it's only 13 mils thick, right? The Patek is like 11.5, so it's putting it on and it could be just because like the case, like the side profile of the case is a little.
I don't think it was that thick. So that's another one I finally got to see in person when I was in Philadelphia.
Yeah,
and they had a salmon Dow, I think, too.
Yeah, they have a salmon, a champagne, and a silver.
Yeah, but the pistachio is the way to go.
I agree. The silver's really nice too. Don't sleep on that one. But I think the pistachio is definitely the best. Sean's asking about a dark green strap. The problem I have is Breitling has a dark green gator strap, and the problem is it's goose shit green. So it just looks bad. I think black with green stitching would be nice, or even just black on black. Just something I can feed into the deployant. And then just it's nice and if I can get it focused, nice and crisp. Just a nice 30-minute chronograph registered, no date on it. And that's why I like the manual wind versions as opposed to the automatics, because the automatics are a 42. They're a little bit thicker. I think they're 13 and a half, but then they have a date and I don't mind a date on a chronograph, but sometimes it's nice to not have to futz with it when you put a watch on. And I love the syringe hands. Those are just classy. So
Yeah, they're cool.
Um,
Yeah, syringe hands are cool
and then
on
just
the right
snaps
watch,
right
and
back.
that they look good on that watch.
Mm. So, like I said, I think if they do more stuff like this, and I think they kind of need to clean up their catalog,
Mhm.
like because their most recent thing they updated was they moved the top times to the B01 because they were using just the 2824 with the I think it was a Le Juperet chronograph module, and the problem I had with it is
Okay.
like I don't like the modern top times because they're very kitschy because they only make them in like
No.
variety of car
Yeah.
themes and I know some I think there's a
I
couple
was
people here in the community that
Here's
might
my
actually have
Mustang
one.
watch, and here's my
And that's fine if
yeah.
people are into that. Like I was a huge Ford Thunderbird guy, right? And but I'm not going to buy the Ford Thunderbird Breitling. They also made a Triumph
Right.
Motorcycles version, and I was a huge Triumph motorcycle guy. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's fine if that's your thing. I just think it kind of like it's a bit kitschy, especially because like
Yeah.
the vintage top times were nice, dressy, understated, kind of dress chronographs really. And I
Right.
feel like they almost have too many things in the same category, you know. But maybe that's just
I
me.
agree. No, I get it. I like the new like was it last year they updated the Chronomat.
Yeah, I like the
Before
chronomats. I do.
put the bullet bracelet on it.
The modern bullet bracelet, super nice.
Yeah, I thought that was
It's
good to
grown on me.
watch.
Like it
The
definitely at first I was like, not sure about it, but the more you see it, you really like it. Especially when they had a two-tone one with rose gold. It looked really nice. Oh man.
yeah, the white GMT, the white dial GMT is
Mm,
pops. It pops right out of the case.
yeah. And they have those new 44 millimeter Avengers. I don't like them. I like the color. The dial colors are cool. It's kind of like a matte, like they're all matte with like a variety of
Dial
colors. But
colors are very cool.
I just don't like the proportions. But that's just me.
Yeah.
Let's see.
hmm
Next. There it is.
Boom.
Yeah.
Love that watch.
Speedy 57. In my opinion,
Hate it.
this is the
Hate
best.
it on
This
the
is
leather
that's
strap.
right. Oh yeah, no, especially because they tried to color match the leather of the dial, and it just looks ugly as shit. Like this would look so
It's
good.
terrible. It's
If they
terrible.
did like a black racing strap with like red stitching, that would have looked great. But they did like this kind of like fume red leather strap, and it doesn't look good. So you have to
It's
get the bracelet
bad.
because also this is the best
Yeah.
bracelet in Omega's catalog. Period. End of story.
Mhm.
Super
I
comfortable.
agree. Yep.
The tapers it tapers. It looks awkward at first
Tapers
because it
like
tapers from like 20 to
crazy.
15. But yeah, honestly, this bracelet
Yeah.
competes with the Oyster bracelet as far as comfort. So, and then what's kind of fun is the red dial.
It's
It's a
definitely
matte
cool.
dial, as opposed to the green and the blue are
Mhm.
sunburst. So,
Yeah.
which I agree with that decision. I think a cherry red sunburst would be a bit too loud.
I agree. There was in Philadelphia they had an Omega boutique and they had the blue and the green on the bracelet and the red was on the leather and I was like, oh,
Yeah, nah, it's the
but
leather just looks
the difference
hokey.
in the dials.
Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, the sunburst on the blue and the green, they're not bad looking dials, but
Mhm.
it's a little it's a little much with the sunburst and the chronograph and
Yeah.
I didn't care for it.
I liked the green because it looks gray unless you look like head on. So it was a lot more muted in real life because the renders
Yeah.
make it look like it's some bright green. But yeah, the blue, I agree. It's like fine. Like there's nothing wrong with it, but it's just I felt like the green and the red were the stars of the collection. Um, Even though
Yeah,
people are like
definitely.
a red watch, that's bold. I'm like, not really. It's I wish more people would wear red. We're moving back into a culture that's just okay with men wearing color. We don't all have to wear like black and gray suits.
Mhm.
So
Right. Makes a sense. That's just such a beautiful watch. And how do you like the winding on that?
Not as smooth as the B09, but it's still nice. The thing is, they're both 70-hour power reserves, so you have to wind it like 100 times for a full wind.
Yeah.
So, but
And
the nice thing is,
you
you see the 3/4 plate with the Geneva waves.
it's a beautiful movement. And that one is that's a variation of the 8900, right?
Yeah, this is the what they call the 9903.
Okay.
Or 9906. Yeah. So basically, so what's cool about it is it's still a 12-hour, even though it's only it's a bicompax. So the actual like chronograph register here will track hours and minutes because it has two hands.
Gotcha.
And then also has the jumping quickset hour. So it almost acts like half of a GMT.
Yeah. So that's like my Aquaterra. So anything where when I look at the catalog, anything that the second number is a 9 has that jump hour hand.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's like, a GMT or not.
And I understand, like, okay, 321 or like the 3861, yeah, it's a those are arguably a more attractive movement in the back. I think this is still a very handsome movement.
Yeah.
But also this is a thinner watch than either of the Speedies, the Moonwatch Professionals. And I don't know. Mostly I'm just like you spend most of the time with it on your wrist anyway. So but like I said, best bracelet in the catalog. This, in my opinion, this is the best Speedmaster.
Yeah, I was shocked. In the current catalog. I think we talked about it before, but I told you when I tried it on, I was like, when I saw the taper before I put the watch on, I thought, ooh, I don't know.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But then you put it on, you're like, oh, smooth. Yeah, that's one of the things I like about the Zenith is it's got a pretty good taper. Not quite as drastic, but it's amazing how much more comfortable it makes the watch.
Well, and what's funny too is how much going back to, we'll bring the Milgauss out. So like these both have a 4 mil taper to the bracelet, but like focus. But the Milgauss looks way more aggressive, and maybe it's because it's a ratio, because the Tudor is a 22 down to an 18, but the Milgauss is a 20 down to a 16. So you kind of see it. It looks more aggressive on the Milgauss.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then going from a 20 to a 15 is even more. It's like a step. But if you, it looks a little weird at first, especially if you're used to kind of like the Seamaster bracelet has 0 taper to it.
0.
And so if you're used to that, then it's going to look really strange.
Same thing. The Aquaterra, I don't think has any taper either. And it's a similar bracelet style, although the difference it's the polish is in the middle with the brush on the outside, but it doesn't taper, and it's comfortable, but it's not as comfortable as a tapered bracelet.
Oh, I agree. The taper makes it much more wearable. I had I got rid of some of my first watches that I got, so I had a Hamilton Jazzmaster. I sold that off. I just wasn't wearing it. The Milgauss basically replaced it. It was like Blue Dial sports watch, but that was I think the lug was 20 and it tapered down to it was either 20 tapered down to an 18 or 22 that tapered down to a 20. Suddenly it tapered down like a little bit, and it just it's like a bracelet, right? Or like a cuff, Yeah, exactly. But then when you moving to the Milgauss, it was just a lot more comfortable, but visually it was very different.
Yeah, the 300M I wore all summer on the rubber because it tapered. It was just more comfortable in the heat,
I mean, I feel like that'd be a very easy fix for them to make, because even if they added 2 degrees of taper to that bracelet, so visually it wouldn't look too different. I think that'd be a huge quality of life improvement.
Huge.
Let's see. All right, getting close to the end here. So this was the unexpected call that I got. Because the Guinness I was expecting because I was the first person to talk to my SA about that, like the day after Watches and Wonders, and so
Mhm.
basically that was I worked with two different ADs. That was the smaller AD, and they just don't get a ton, and I was and so basically it was a guarantee I was going to get one. It was just when they got them in, right?
Right.
But then this one was when I put like when I got the Milgauss, because I work this is I got from the larger AD. And I put down like a couple of watches I was like interested in, and then this was one of them. And I didn't forget about it, but it was just like I wasn't talking to her about it, and I was just kind of like I was expecting the Guinness, so I wasn't spending as much time over at the other AD. And then I just got a random text out of the blue. She's like, "Are you still interested in this?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah, I am. Yes,
So
I am.
it's a handsome timepiece. In my opinion, this is like the date just to the subs Oyster Perpetual.
Mhm.
And it's very shiny, very very shiny. Interestingly enough, like the other two I didn't have to take any links out, but this one I had to take one link out and then push in all the micro adjusts, and I think it's because it's thinner than the other two. So I think the
Okay.
overall diameter of like the watch is slightly bigger because it's not eaten up as much with the case.
Right.
Um, so yeah, so I had to pull one link. Basically, it was like half a link too big, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Um, but great watch, handsome. The red with the blue, or I guess the
It's
blue with the red.
yeah, it's just classic look.
Mhm.
So I was a big fan of that original, like that gray dial one,
Oh, the platinum dial, yeah,
Yeah, I always thought that was good looking, but when they came out with this, I was like, whoa.
yeah. And then just 40 mil is a good size.
Hmm.
In my opinion, I gravitate towards 40 mil. Like I can pull off, as you guys have seen, I can pull off like probably 44 if I really wanted to,
Yeah.
but I just kind of gravitate towards 40. And also this is super comfortable. It's only like 10 and a half mils thick, so it's nice and thin. The only thing is a little paranoid about the bezel because there's definitely time. You saw the Milgauss. There's definitely some nicks and scrapes and bumps and dings.
Yeah.
Like this bezel is $2,000 to replace.
Ooh.
And platinum is softer than steel. So
Yes.
it's one where, and so far I've managed to not scrape up the bezel, which I'm quite pleased with because I don't baby the watch, right? Like I wear it
Right.
and I wear it with long sleeves and I'll pull it into my sleeve and all my wool
Hmm.
coats and so like I'm surprised it hasn't been scratched up yet. But I'm curious to see how this one ages.
Yeah.
Um, so handsome boyo.
Yeah. Classic look.
Yeah. Then last but not least, let me put this guy away. And I've got a couple like I'll keep teasing with my cheap quartz watches. So this is the oldest watch I've had in my collection because I've had this since I was a child. This is a Lionel
Cool.
Train watch.
Whoa.
Yeah, you can find these on eBay for $1. I think
Nice.
the strap was like $30 or $50 because I put it on a lizard skin strap because that'd be hilarious to put a $1 watch on like a lizard skin strap. Just fun. It's kind of a
Definitely.
fun to keep it around. It's 32 mil, so it definitely dresses up on the wrist.
Mhm.
So just I have the the gold brew.
Oh yeah.
This one's so much fun. It's so
Bruce
just
fun watch.
oh god, it's so much fun. And like normally, like I was a pretty subdued person, but I'm trying to, as I tell people, I've been slowly working on pulling the stick out of my ass for the last 10 years. I'm trying to have more fun with stuff.
Yes.
So like the gold brew, it's just fun. It's a knock around watch. It looks great. Again, I think this one's 36. I think
Yeah.
it's a good size, especially with the design. It looks very retro. And it's
Yeah.
just it's just fun. It's flashy. It's gold. It's a good time.
They're fun
No
watches. They're
collection.
not very expensive.
Yeah, no collection's complete without a G-Shock.
Hmm.
And then I too have a Maldives watch.
Oh, there it is.
So, these are fun. I actually went out of my way to read the numbers and set the date correctly
Cool.
because that's the kind of person I am. All right, and last but not least,
Dun, 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 dun. Even better in person.
oh yeah, yeah, the renders are handsome, but this is it's one you got to see in person. What I
Mhm.
love is the bezel, the black and gray. In certain light, the whole thing looks gray,
Yeah,
which is so cool. You can kind of see it there, where like the
yeah.
black kind of gets
Kind of
washed out, and
fades
looks
into a
gray.
gray. Yeah.
Super cool. And I love the two tone. Like this one was I know two tone's kind of a little contentious, so it's a little
Mm.
Marmite. And people say, look, it's kind of old manish, but I think this does a great job of not kind of being old manish. I think the only one that looks old man is if you have like two tone with a champagne dial. That looks
Yeah.
like an old man watch.
Mm-hmm.
But like the two tone here with the silver and gold, it's Christmas, right? Silver and gold, silver and gold. Anyone else remember? Who was it?
Rudolph. That was
Burl
Rudolph.
Ives.
Yeah, Burl Ives and Rudolph.
Mm. Then and same thing. It's 12. I think it's like slightly under 12 mils thick. It's like 11.9. So it wears really nice.
Yeah.
Again, 40 mil, super comfortable. And then just a splash of gold. So
just enough. It's just the Jubilee, the bezel. It's a great watch.
Mm-hmm.
It really, really is a great watch.
Yeah.
We have Sean the Christmas elf.
Sean! Christmas elf Sean.
Hey. Merry Christmas, gentlemen.
Merry Christmas, Sean.
Merry
How are you?
Very good, thank you. I had to jump on. I was waiting, and I was enjoying seeing the state of the collection that Evan just put on the show for us, and I wanted to jump on to say, what a great guy. On a spare of the moment request, he gave us and the commentary. I mean, you learn so much.
Well, that's what's
whenever this man speaks,
why Evan's the best guest.
He's unbelievable.
Exactly.
You were showing us your grandpa's Rolex, and we were talking about scratches and how you personalize. I'm gonna share with you my perspective, my point of view when it comes down to scratches. Yes, it is nice to have a vintage watch that's pristine and no scratch. If you're going to buy one and there's no emotional attachment to that piece, if you go to a vintage watch store, or if you find one online, you want to get it as pristine as you can. But if that watch that belongs to your grandpa, if that watch was pristine as if he never wore it, it would not have the same sentimental value to you.
Oh, it's
engraved. The scratches, when you see them, your mind takes over, your imagination takes over, and say, okay, how did he get that scratch? And it's just like a story. The watch tries to tell you a story, and your imagination takes over and takes you to the past and how your grandpa would have wore it. And it's the connection you have with your grandpa. If that watch was perfectly pristine with no scratcher, it would be like you wouldn't have that same connection. And that's my perspective on that.
100%.
Yeah, so one of these days I'll get the bracelet repaired and sized. But just gotta. It's one of those things you just gotta send it off and take the time.
Yeah, it's cool that it's engraved. That he has it engraved with his name.
Professor G, do you have a picture of your grandpa with the Rolex?
I'd have to not on me. I'd have to go see if I can dig through some photo albums. So, but my dad. It's funny because I was talking to my dad about it because he remembers it distinctly, because going back to it had radium looms, so he remembers vaguely the watch would glow all the time, right?
Oh yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I had a Luminox for years. I could tell the time from across the room, with the tubes,
when my Omega, which I had on my wrist when I came over to US when I was 14, and I wore it when I was playing lacrosse and you name it,
Mm.
When I took it in to have it serviced, I did tell him it's never been polished. The dings. I mean, there's one. Somebody checked me with a lacrosse stick, and it put a
Mhm.
ding on it, and it's just like a snapshot. That moment is saved on
Yes.
that watch. I know exactly what happened. If that thing wasn't there, I wouldn't remember that moment in the past. So yeah, it's a shame to have these things polished up.
Yeah.
Just give them the way they are.
Mhm. Yeah, and like hell, my dad had he bought his first Rolex when he was 17 at the price of I think $250 back in the
Oof.
70s. It was a stainless steel date just with the engine turn bezel, silver
Oh, yeah.
dial.
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean, he used to wear that watch doing everything, working on cars, swimming,
Yeah.
working on the house. It didn't matter. He wore that everywhere, doing everything.
What was did he become a watch collector, or was he a one watch man?
He was mostly a one watch man. He has a couple, but only because so my grandfather had three. So my
Okay.
grandfather also had a stainless steel Datejust. That's going to go to my uncle. Well, so sad story. So that one actually originally went to my dad's younger brother, but my dad's younger brother passed away over COVID. So now that's going to go to my dad's older brother. But then
Okay.
also when he retired, he picked up a single quick date, and so my dad has that now. So
I see.
Nice.
he doesn't
So your
wear
dad-
them really. He mostly just wears his Apple watches.
Yeah.
But
So your grandpa was the inspiration for your dad to get his Rolex.
mhm. He tells a story. They were pissed because they told him they're like if you can afford this, that means you can afford your own viola lessons, and so he had to start paying for his own viola lessons. So.
Well, it's fair.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, it's kind of hard to be angry about that. That's
Yeah.
pretty.
Good evening, Mitchell. Thanks for stopping by. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, that's
This was fun. Thank you for showing us your beautiful collection.
absolutely.
Yeah, thanks for hopping on. Thanks for chatting. It's always a pleasure when you're on to chat, Sean. You're just
Yes.
a class act.
Too kind. Thank you. And I also just want to say I did not miss the beautiful fountain pen case that you had in the background
Oh yes,
with the contrast stitching.
Yeah,
Oh,
Esterbrook. Currently, this is all the stuff I had inked up when I did the and talk
When
the
we
other
did the
day.
show. Yeah.
And then
that's
I just
great.
don't write as much as I used to, so I don't burn through pens as much. So like these will probably stay inked up for at least another few weeks before I'll probably clean them out after a certain point. I don't like keeping pens inked up for like more than a couple months.
Yeah. You know when somebody orders a car, they get the blue exterior with the red interior. We call it the Superman combo. You have a Superman
Nice.
Superman pen case right there, blue and red stitching.
So, Sean, we have we keep an old school paper sold set sheet, on the sales desk.
I love it. Yeah,
And
same.
I use my new fountain pen for that every day now.
Isn't it a joy? Isn't it a joy to write?
It is. It is.
Yeah, it's just amazing. And you know what's the funny thing about it, Mark? As you enjoy it, because the fountain pen, it's more like the nib is like a red ball, right? And
Mhm.
as you write with it, depending on the angle and so forth, and the pressure you put on, it becomes somewhat flat, right? You
Yeah.
basically flatten it to the style of your writing. So if somebody else writes after, if down the road, if you lend it to someone, they're not going to get the same ink
Doesn't
flow on
look
everything as you. Yeah, they're not going to get. It's not going to have the same experience as you. So you're personalizing that fountain pen every day that you use it. And
Yeah, it's cool.
I'm glad that you're doing that. No, we have the same thing. We obviously we send out the reports, and at night via electronically and all that.
Yeah.
But at the desk we have the old school
Old-
paper that they put down. You know, who sold it, stock number, what kind of car, this and
Yep.
that. So it's visually it's really important. I remember
Mhm.
in the days in the 80s, we had this huge sheet where you had to one by one you had to write down, was it finance, was it lease, how much
Oh,
was
yeah.
the gross, and then what did you sell, life accident health, service contract,
Mhm.
alarm, everything. And at the end of the night you had to add it all up, and
Yeah.
and the owner could have called you at 9:30 or 8:30,
Mhm.
and you need to know all the stats. You have to be able to give it to them. So
Yep.
old school,
Yeah.
man, old school.
We used to
I was
keep
gonna
those
say
old counting books.
yeah, if you get tired of writing on garbage paper, I'm assuming it's just printer paper, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
If
yes.
you get tired of garbage paper, so if you get HP Premium 32-pound paper, that's actually pretty decent to write onto the fountain pen,
Huh.
and it's not too much more expensive than regular like printer paper. You can get it in bulk. So like
Mhm.
that's what I use. It's nice and heavy. It's really
Yeah.
quality paper. You can feel it, but it's not super expensive. And then also yeah, it just handles ink better. So,
HP 32, is that what you said?
32-pound premium, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out.
You know, you probably use legal pads to write your notes for
Oh,
your
yeah.
meetings and so
Yeah.
forth. You always have something there. There are some quality papers out there. You know, and like Rhodia has different sizes and different shapes of paper. You know, and all that.
Cool.
So get Rhodia. They're a little bit waxed. I don't know if Evan G, you like it. They're a little bit. You know, they're beautiful pens if you use I mean papers if you use ink, but you know they're. Do you like Rhodia, or do you like what's your favorite paper?
I'm a Clairefontaine person.
Claire, yeah.
I just like Rhodia's good stuff. I just gravitate towards Clairefontaine because of the notebooks. So like I tend to carry I've got my other pen case here. So this is a Galen leather medic bag. And then I used to carry this into the skiff with me because I couldn't carry a laptop back and forth. So I'd just bring my pens with me.
Oh,
And then, so like I just like Clairefontaine's just like A5 size notebooks. And then they're usually not too expensive. They also make nice like little like 3.5 by 5-inch pocket notebooks.
Hmm.
So that way I can just kind of jot quick notes. I keep one in my back pocket.
Very cool. Very cool. You know,
Yeah.
to this day, you know, with all the electronic gadgetry, I still have my daily ledger, daily what do you call it, planner, and
Yeah.
I enjoy writing. And whenever you know, I'm one of those guys that you know, if there's a message sitting on my phone in my office, I always look at like it's a ticking bomb, so I always right away take the note. I'm sure you're the same way, Mark, and I
Yeah.
even put down the hour or the
Mhm.
the hour, the time they came in. But I enjoy writing. When I see a message, I right away take out one of my fountain pens,
Exactly.
flip my note, my daily planner, and ready to write down. I enjoy writing. It's fun.
Yeah, it is. And I get the all of the off hour calls come to my voicemail.
Yeah.
So I keep multiple sheets because I go, is this parts? Is this service? Is it sales?
Yeah.
Like, so depending on what they say at the start of the call, where I start writing, which pad I start writing on.
I have a template over the years that I've made. I call it the progressional report, and I put everything in there for all aspects of our business, from not only for the volume, new, used, PRU, finance, service, dollar sales, gross profit, parts, dollar sales, gross profit. Everything goes in there, including our inventory based on buckets, what we've sold, bucket 1, bucket 2, bucket 3, bucket 4.
Okay.
PRU, what we have in inventory, bucket 1, bucket 2, bucket 3, bucket 4. And what I do is, beginning of the month, I take our sales for our sales department. I take the new and used. I go back to 3 years, and I run it from 1st to the 15th, and then 16th through the end of the month. So not only when I write all these stuff, I have a sheet that I have, and I kickstart. No, I don't care if I have fever or what. That's the way I start every day. It helps me kickstart my day, and I handwrite all of that stuff in my sheet, and then I input them into my template, and then I send it to all my department leaders. And that way, you don't just get the straight line what you're tracking, but you also get the weighted pace also. And but every day putting that on, writing it is a joy. And just the moment before, if I haven't thought about what I'm going to be using when I get to work, typically I do. If I don't, I just open the case and I go, okay, what does it feel like? What kind of nib am I going to use today? And like Evan, you said, it's a regular printer paper, so it's not great. So I have to get something that doesn't, an ink that doesn't, or fountain pen that doesn't, it's not too wet, but at the same time, smooth enough, and so I can fill in the boxes and so forth. It's a ritual. It's fun.
Well, here's the thing, because I do a lot of old school writing things down, and I feel like the numbers become more personal to me because I'm writing them, because and I'm doing the addition. I've worked at places where we have the spreadsheets, and they do. It's I don't know. It's unfulfilling. In a way, in an odd way. Like there's something about putting it to paper, and it just makes it more real or something to me. It's
for me. It also helps me remember stuff. If I type notes, I don't remember it. If I write it down, I remember it. I was the kid in school. Because I would always take handwritten notes, I almost never had to go review my notes. Like, they were there if I needed to, but just like the act of writing them down just kind of sealed them in memory.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's funny you say that. One of the tricks that I used to use, Evan, when I was in school, I was in college, and because I didn't, I didn't study as much as others, but what I did was, before the lecture, the night before, I would just read the section that they were going to cover, and I wouldn't bother about absorbing understanding everything. I would just read through, and then when I would go to class, I would be that much more receptive to absorb everything that was given. So I didn't need to later, I didn't have to spend as much time. And but it just preps you. It just it's just like you get seasoned to absorb everything that's being, most of the stuff that are being given to you. So that was something that that worked for me. So
that's a habit I didn't really start picking up until my master's. For my just because I'm a very very much an auditory learner. So like if I hear things, I can remember. And so I just never needed it, and so I used to almost never read the book. Right, I would just go to lectures, and then I'd refer to the book if I wanted some extra clarification on stuff. But for my master's, that I started doing that very thing, is reading the book before the lectures, and and that definitely helped.
Awesome, man.
Very, very cool.
You must be tired, Mark.
I know. I was just gonna say it's 2 a.m. here in Pittsburgh.
I know, I'm tired. Like I was gonna go to bed like an hour and a half ago, and then I was like, yeah, okay, I'll go dig the watches out of the safe.
Cool.
Well, go take a look and see if Santa's taken a bite of the chocolate chip cookie, and let's see something behind. Merry Christmas, guys.
Merry Christmas.
It was fun. It was intimate.
Absolutely.
It was an intimate stream.
Exactly. But hey, Evan, thanks again for sharing.
Yeah. I didn't mean to come on and dominate your stream.
That was the request. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That was cool.
Again, what's cool about the small stream is that's what it's for. You know,
you're not just sitting here like, okay, now that everyone's done, we're gonna go back to my schedule. You know,
right? Yeah, or the chat. There's chat, but it's not.
Yeah.
400 people in there doing. It's intimate. It's we get. It's what I like about doing my own show and my own thing is that I can do. So if Sean says, hey, can Evan do State of Collection? Sure. Or if you want to come on and do pens, or Carol wants to do pens, or Harry wants to do Hoyers, it's all let's do that show. I want Thomas Burnett to come on if he's still in the chat. I sent him my email. I want him to come on one day because he's got an amazing collection of vintage watches, especially vintage Omegas.
Oh, really?
And he goes to super cool events too. Like, were you there when he was on the after show, just like showcasing? Like, he went to some some micro brand event, and he was like showing us all of the watches and all the watchmakers.
Oh, cool.
It was super cool.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
And then he makes fun of us for playing video games. So.
You know what this felt like, guys? This felt like we all live in on the same block, and we just went around and knocked on Mark's door, and he just invited us in.
Come on in. It's funny, when I was a kid growing up. So my parents I was blessed with great parents, and my parents did not mind noise and kids and stuff, and we had like a little game room, and it was everyone came to our house because it was everybody was cool there. We can make as much noise as we wanted. A basketball hoop out front. We had we could just do whatever we wanted to do, and so everyone did used to come knock on my door.
Very cool. All right, gentlemen. Awesome. Good night. Merry Christmas.
Good night. Merry Christmas, Sean. Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Mark. Evan. Thank you, Professor. I'm not going to call you Professor G. I'm going to shorten. I'm going to say Prof G.
Prof G. I say you can't call him PG because we already have one of those.
Yeah,
I'll be Doc G.
Doc G.
So it's I'm gonna follow you out the door, Sean, because it's midnight here, and I got to get up early. We're watching our holiday plans tomorrow are watching the entire extended edition of Lord of the Rings.
Oh, there you go.
It's gonna be like nice 15 hours of Lord of the Rings.
My brothers had the Family Guy Christmas extravaganza going on earlier. I was like, oh yeah, Family Guy.
Good night, gentlemen.
Good night, Sean. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Catch you later, Mark.
All right, see you guys. Anybody else that's still out there, Merry Christmas. Thanks for stopping by. If you haven't, hit the upvote on your way out. And I appreciate all of you for spending a little bit of time with us. We're going to go out with a Christmas carol again, like we did on the afternoon show. Because
how many people do you have on right now, Mark? How many people?
I think there's 6,
7 or 8.
8. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, we got 8 hanger-ons. So my favorite Christmas carol or hymn is "O Come, O Come, Emmanuel." So I just always like that song. I only get to listen to it, 1 month a year. So I'm going to play it again.
Let's do this.
I don't hear anything. Well, it's coming through the stream.
Yeah, we don't hear anything.
Oh, you can't hear it?
No.
No, you're just jamming over there in silence.
I'm like jamming in silence, and I didn't hit the share the tab instead. Hold on. Let me make this right. We'll jam with everyone else. I'm just over here. Can you hear it now?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas.
Oh, come, Emmanuel, and ransom captive Israel that mourns in lonely exile unto the Son of God appear. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel. Oh, come thou day spring, come and see thy people with thine advent here. Disperse the gloomy clouds of night, and death's dark shadows put to flight. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to me, O Oh, come thou rider of Jesse free, thy throne from Satan's tyranny, from depths of hell thy people save, and give them victory o'er the grave. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O
All right, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. Everyone have a Merry Christmas. Sean, Evan, thank you very much. I
Yeah.
appreciate everybody.
Thank you for having me. Beautiful, beautiful way to end.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We'll end the stream and